Hey, you crazy cats! 42's live streams and videos are simply not available on vinyl. You will have to go to the YouTubes for that. So if you want content about British traditions and culture, cutting edge social commentary from an unapologetically patriotic perspective, along with a side order of madness you simply will not find anywhere else, then this is the place for you. And to all those early adapters in the chat, don't forget to hit the notification bell. That's how you get the good stuff and make sure you never miss a tasty treat. So with that being said and done, squeeze yourself in. Let's get into it. You know you want to. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Please do delete as applicable because the internet is worldwide and time zones are still a thing. Also, can I get a quick audio check in the chat? And I will say my hellos to the couple of people that's in. Mr. Budgie of the Burger is in. What about you, chum? Welcome aboard. We are covered for the funniest comments on the internet. RPW Media, I'm going to come back to you, chum. Thanks for coming along. I will be coming back to you. A couple of things to say. There we go. Amanda Lee is in. What about you? Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming along. Anglo, what about you, brother? Thank you so much for coming along and also for letting me know that the audio is going strong at 5 for 5. Linda Hunter has sneaked in from down under. And right. Okay, that's a hello stuff. Before saying anything else, this could become a little bit tangenty tonight because, well, things. Yeah, expect the odd tangent here or there. Yeah, basically, I've been off work this week, and when most people think, yeah, that's good. 42 will have got caught up to date with absolutely everything, all of his emails, maybe even written a poem or two, because he had time off work. No. I did absolutely fuck all of that. I did none of it. Still zero, fuck all. We had a very, very rare occurrence of very warm weather and me, 42, being off work. Slightly too warm because I did consider going out for a cycle once or twice and went out and checked the outside ambient temperature and went, fuck, it's too warm for this shit. Which is something that you very rarely hear in Northern Ireland. That's Spain terminology coming out there. So, yeah, I've watched a lot of reaction videos, so I've got a lot of stuff going on in my mind. So there we go. That's what I've been up to. Right. So I will start off with the shout-outs. First one will be Robin, Courage is a Cure, Australian girl who comments on the dystopian world we are living in and the tyrannical governments. You can catch her on very many platforms. The other one is this guy here, Rich, RPW Media, who does a live stream every Friday night at 11 p.m. British Summer Time. In America, that's Eastern Time. I think I'm 99% sure on that. Yeah, Rich, I have a couple of emails to reply to you on. Reference your brother. Yes, I've seen them. I'm going to reply. I'm glad to hear it has turned out. See, I'm learning. It's Eastern Time. Yeah, so I'll get replying to them. The other thing is that you need to know about Rich is he also has a website which is packed full of lots of information. There's an archive that goes back fucking years. Rich is on absolutely everything. You want to find out anything about what happened in American politics, you can go onto his website and look back and you'll have the news. The interesting thing about what Rich does is because he goes through a lot of news things, they can't edit and change that. Because what you'll find is if you look at a news story that is more than a couple of years old, I can guarantee somewhere in it, it'll say at the top, it was produced, published on, say, the 6th of June 2020, and it was edited on whatever date, and that would be the last edit. So just like it, in the book 1984, where they went back in and changed the physical. Yep, rpwmedia.com. Yes, go on there and you can get all that, because the stuff that you're reading from even a year ago or 2 years ago, whenever you go to the news article, it's not the same as it was whenever it came out. So it's good to have that archive where you can go back and see what was actually said at the time and can compare and contrast with the current narrative which is being brought in. So there's all of that. The other thing is, Rich, if you're about next Saturday night for the end of the month, I'll put that in the email, but you're welcome to jump in. There may or may not be a Dave Waffle. We will see. He might be looking. He may not. He might be watching the England match. I'll come on to the England match in a moment. Yeah, but get yourself over to rpwmedia.com and you can check through the back sources and see what you're interested in, and you'll find. The other thing that's happening is, and this is something I'm noticing with doing this show, where I go and look up historical facts, the amount of historical fucking slop I'm finding on the internet is beyond fucking compare. There is so much AI, and also the AI sources from other AI, which sources from itself. It's like a snake fucking eating itself and shitting itself out and creating another snake and eating that. And whenever you get to the bottom of it, it's still bullshit. So it is literally becoming harder to find the truth. And the likes of the back catalogue that Rich has produced is somewhere you can go and find out where you can actually find out what was said at the time. So that's very good. That's what I was trying to say. The other one, I'm going to come back to Rich in a minute, because I've got American stuff coming up with an American question. Fucking, I seen an American person making a chip buddy. For those of you from America who don't know, that's basically chips, which Americans call French fries, but French fries and chips are two different things. Chips are fucking chunky. French fries are skinny. But yeah, I have questions about fucking what's happening with your food over there, brother. It's not right. But anyway, the other show I'd like to give a shout out to would be the one, the only, the Dave Waffle House, home of the world famous Friday Night Duck Race, the best duck race on the internet. It's a place where you can go, hang out, meet like-minded people, trade some ducks, win some ducks, maybe win a tin of liquid ass or whatever, and just hang out and chill out. It's a really cool place to hang out. So that's there every weeknight from 8:30, or if you arrive at 8, you will. Yeah, we only eat home cooked. Yeah. It's weird, man. Organic everything. Yeah. This was a hot fucking mess. I'm going to show you now. 1 second, I need to call. Yeah, so get yourself over to Dave Waffle House. Dave, if you are watching this on catch up, the one thing I do need to address is on Monday, the 12th of July, I had planned to go live and video the upload. I was going to go live and stream the Belfast Orange Order demonstration commemorating the 335th anniversary of the Battle of the Boyne. And basically in the morning I had technical issues. I also wasn't feeling Also, wasn't feeling well whenever I woke up that morning. Uh, Definitely has to have been a bug. It could not have been any form of a hangover from drinking too much the night before. I've ruled that out of the equation. It wasn't that, but I felt like absolute shit. I went to go and do the stream anyway because I was always going to go and see the parade. But I have changed my phone since I last live streamed with the GoPro, and my GoPro and my phone did not get on, and I had major issues trying to get it to connect, and the parade was going past and was missing that. I wasn't getting the live stream done, and I just went, fucking I'm not doing this. I'm not even going to try. Another elephant. Doing okay, Anita. How's yourself? So that never happened. Dave was potentially going to restream it. Sorry, mate. It just didn't work out. These things are sent to try us. But yeah. So this guy is making a chip body. That's chips, or in American, French fries, and that is, and it's put on 2 slices of bread. Well, it's between 2 slices of bread. Now, I have questions about all of this. At this stage, what the fuck is going on here? Because he's about to butter his bread. He's going to put butter on his bread. Watch this.
Yeah, that's a good exercise for you.
But
You might want to check the tab. There may be a tab you have to pull off.
Why the fuck is he shaking his butter? And why does it have a nozzle? This cannot be butter. Butter is a solid. It's not a liquid. It's not a cream.
Look at you.
Butter
No
is
butter
a
expert.
solid.
I love butter on bread. I used to eat it all the time whenever I was a kid.
Do you like butter on your shirt? God dang it. I don't know
That's
how
not
much
butter.
to put on there. I'm just gonna butter it.
Now here's the next
That's
problem.
a lot. I feel like when we sew up close and personal.
What the fuck is going on with your bread? RPW Media's making his own butter. Yeah, but here, what the fuck's going on with this bread? Why is he buying the fucking really small size loaf? Like, these are not slices of bread. These are half slices of bread for like a craft loaf. The bread itself should be twice that size. Oh, yeah, I know it's not a solid in this heat, but this is why you keep most of it in the fridge and export a little bit to your butter dish, and then it stays perfectly spreadable in this heat. Yeah, and what the fuck's the size of this bread? Like, that's bread is much smaller than the palm of his hand. That's not a full slice. That's like a we make high protein, 0 calories bread. Fuck. Rich is all over it. Yeah, it's nimble from the 70s. Yep, it is. But here's the thing, Spanish chicken, see in the 70s, Nimble did not put sugar in their bread. Why the fuck are you putting sugar in your bread? It's turning into a cake. What is going on with your food? And why can that monstrosity that looks akin to mayonnaise be legally called butter? Because it's not. This is ridiculous. I'm beginning to think about, well, you're hardly going to be eating a lot of it. How do you even make a sandwich? It's just too small. Martin's then, what about you? My Auntie Marge has been on holiday. I can't believe she's not. Yes, this is exactly it. Nimble was half the calories because it was half the size, and that's what you've got. You've got a half-sized slice of bread. It's irrational anyway. The only thing is that they're well, actually, I'll scoot this on till the thing that he puts on that he says are chips for a chip. But these are like really skinny French fries, and look how few of them it takes to fill this thing.
They're like perfect for this.
I know. Who would have thought?
Yeah. Who would have thunk it? Do we go diagonal too?
I reckon.
Oh, and by the way,
Do you want to put your
that's not
condiment
diagonal,
first?
that's horizontal.
No, you put it on top.
Oh, okay.
And you're not putting anywhere near.
Okay. One chip, buddy. I'm very excited for
But
this.
you're not going to get the proper flavor or taste off that because your chips are far too skinny. Yeah, the chips are like French fries. They're not great anyway. I may start doing reactions to fucking American food because that is that's bad. That is bad. Anyway, where was I? I know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to reset the whole thing, and I'm going to play the outro now. This was the lyrics, music, and everything was by RPW Media. I put the video on top of it. I'm going to play that, and then we're going to get into the actual topic of tonight, which would be the Voting Act and Voting Secrecy Act, and this is where we changed the law because previous to this, if you were voting in an election, you went along to a hall and stuck your hand in the air, and then this is the introduction of the paper ballots in the little box and all of that privacy. So that's what we're going to be talking about, and we're going to play the outro first. Yeah, I need to. Yep, I forgot which tab I had connected to the outro.
In the red dirt, name carved in a stone you can't move. 42 wears the north wind like a tattoo. Green field trapped in the gray sky, saw the rain still stuck in his throat. Far from the line on the map, he carries that border like a coat. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless, words like broken glass in the heather. Tongue tastes blood and black tea. He writes the river that cut his town. He writes walls only he can see. Vision of Ulster's flicker over rusted wire and ruin. He plants a flag in this dead valley and calls it home by singing 42. Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. Is it exile if the land moves with you? Is it freedom if the past still stares straight through? He laughs like a funeral, he prays like a fight, writes Ulster in the sand, lets the wind decide the right. At 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. 42. 42.
Have I spelled secret wrong, Billy? I could do that. In fact, I probably will. Welcome to the world of dyslexia. It's great. Yeah. But it is what it is. Anyway, here we go. We're going to dive into the content. We'll share the screen. This is from the Victorian Commons, which is a WordPress blog site. And by the way, I'm finding that people's blogs and stuff is turning out to be more accurate than what we get from the fucking authority. I think people's secret drugs and phones in their prison wall. Yeah, no. Thanks, Rich. It is. Like I say, you give me a brilliant frame to put on. Oh no, here, Billy. Don't worry. Don't worry. All that helps. Honestly, no offense taken whatsoever, and all criticism helps. Trust me. We don't worry about that. Captain Packer, what about you? Sean, welcome aboard. And Boss has jumped in. Welcome aboard. Right. So, the 1872 secret ballot and multiple member seats. Right. The Ballot Act of 1872 sits alongside the three major Reform Acts of the 19th century and various Corrupt Practices Acts, and helping to transform British elections into their recognisably modern form, which eventually turned everyone's elections into their recognisably modern form. As some of our other blogs have shown, it ended a system of open voting, and public nominations have become increasingly associated with bribery, the intimidation of voters, and disorderly behaviour, often fueled by drink. Now, I'm going to give you a heads up here. See, any time that you're reading something historical about Britain and you hear disorderly behaviour, often fueled by drink, that you can translate that into left-wing activists started fights. But nobody wants to blame the left-wing activists for starting these fights, so they say it was disorderly behaviour, often fueled by drink. And you will find that it was, quite apart from being the reason for this law changing, it's a reason why a hell of a lot of the English historical traditional events either got cancelled or changed dramatically to remove anything that sounded remotely British or English. The calmness and order of Britain's now secret elections, by contrast, was striking. At the first by-elections to be held in Pontefract, Preston, Triventon, and Richmond, it was widely reported that there was none of the usual horseplay and excitement. I wonder exactly what this horseplay and excitement was. I'm going to take a wild guess that that horseplay and excitement had a really big effect on the result of the election. Some commentators even commented that the secret ballot had taken all the life out of elections, making them dull, which you can probably translate to my side didn't win because we couldn't intimidate the other side. They have become the most monstrous of monstrosities, commented the South Wales Daily News. Yeah, of course it's in Wales. See, because the Welsh keep on wanting to have opinions that are not in line with the masses, and they have done all sorts of things throughout the years to create that system. So, and the Welsh were worried that they could no longer rig their elections, although they seem to have found a way to do it now. Wistfully recalling the agitation and passion of olden times. Voting in secret after the secret ballot in Glasgow. And here you'll have an image that is recognisable today, where you've got the electoral workers sitting at seats here. They've got the list in front of them. You arrive with your ballot card. You exchange your ballot card for a voting slip. You take it into the booth, and in the privacy of just you and that ballot box, you put your X on the card, and then you take it and put it into the box, which is sitting here, and that's how you cast your vote. Previous to this, you'd all been in this room, and everybody been sticking their hand up and shouting for the person that they wanted to win, and trying to get a result out of that. These and many similar press reports clearly support the idea of a remarkably smooth transition to secret voting, despite some initial hitches in places like Pontefract, which had just 4 weeks to prepare for the newer system. However, a number of longer-term issues did begin to emerge in later polls, which have received less attention. At the municipal level, in particular, problems began to occur in places where multiple councillors were being chosen in each ward. Reports of electors inadvertently crossing the wrong combinations of boxes because the official ballot paper listed the candidates differently to the leaflets that they had received. Could these people read? Could they read, or were they looking down a list? Or did they indeed vote differently than they would have done had they had to make that vote public? Because here's the thing, here's the rubble of green. If you were renting your property and your landlord was voting for candidate A and you voted for candidate B, you could find out that you needed a new lodgings because your landlord had fucked you out. Now all these people can go into the booth. Nobody knows who they voted for, so they can vote with their conscience and not the practical realities of how they're going to live after the vote. And I think that a lot of these complaints could be because the wrong people won. Shock. Even back in the 1700s, people were calling sham if they didn't get the result they wanted. Nothing is new. Or even of electors being confused about how many crosses they could use, or even writing their names on the ballot paper as they had done previously, and municipal elections began to fill the local newspapers. Illiterate voters appear to have had a particularly difficult time. Great fun and typically cruel Victorian fashion was made out of one gaily attired female voter at Sheffield's first council elections held using the secret ballot after declaring in the loudest of tones that she could not read, had to be physically restrained by returning officer from shouting out her votes. Now, let's see. Female voter, 1872. That's before 1900s. This is before the Pankhurst. This is before the suffragettes, and there's a woman voting. This might make you realize that the suffragettes were not exactly truthful. And with this, I need to check the comments. Gary Peacock, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming along. Sorry, I'm just checking through the comments. Slimian's in. Yes, we've got another Aussie in. Linda Hunter is also Australian. I actually need to get in touch with my other friend that lives in Australia, Luke, and get him on again. That's another thing. Where was I? Yeah, so she was told she wasn't allowed to just shout out her votes and had to go and put the X's on the paper. She was promptly taken aside amidst the laughter of those in the room, made to whisper her choices before being given a lecture about learning to read. Yeah, but like I say, apparently we didn't have female voters, but one of them's caused a problem here. Right. The bigger problem, however, which was to become a significant issue in the 1874 general election, was a question of how to cast a good old-fashioned plumper in those constituencies that continue to elect 2 or more MPs. It is often forgotten that unlike today with our first past the post system, before 1885, the vast bulk of England's parliamentary seats were multi-member. This created a much more complex voting system in which electors could either divide their support between different candidates or use just one of their multiple votes to support a single candidate by casting a plumper shortly before the 1874 general election. In the Reading Mercury, 31st of January 1874, published this extraordinary but by no means uncommon advice. If the voter intends to vote, All he has to do is put a cross against the names of the candidates. Of course, if the voter intends to give a plumper, 2 crosses must be written opposite the name of the candidate thus favoured. Now, what I am going to say here is, while they're talking about a different electoral system and it not being first past the post, the other part of that electoral system is that only about 40% of the population were allowed to vote at this stage. And yes, she did. I did mention there was a woman voting, but that was not because she was a woman. And the men were not voting because they were men. They were voting because they owned a certain amount of land to a certain amount of value. And that's how you got your right to vote. In 1921, that changed with the Representation of Peoples Act, which gave the right of voting to all men of 21 years and older, all women of 31 years of age and older. And the reason for the difference in that age is because so many men had been killed in the fucking war that the population was majority women, and therefore what they decided to do was to restrict women up until 31 years of age, and then as the percentages of men and women got back to pre-war norms, then that was quickly reduced and they both got to vote at the same age. The other caveat was, while it was men of 21 years of age who got the right to vote, if you were 18 years or older and had served in combat in World War I, you got the right to vote. That did not count for the men who worked in pits and mines, that was a reserved occupation, not very necessary for the war, or munitions factories or any of that other stuff. If you didn't go into combat, you didn't get your vote until you were 21. But that was done because what was decided was we had created conscription, means by which the government could tell any man, where you go, get your kid on, you're going over the top, may die, may come back without an arm or a leg or your head or your mind or whatever. And it was decided that if we were going to continue with that, those men had to have a say in how that government was formed. And that's where universal suffrage came in. The suffragettes were very hesitant at that at the very start because they thought, with it, because it's connected to conscription, that women might be forced into nursing or the land army or possibly munitions factories, and they only agreed with the introduction of the Representation of Peoples Act whenever that had been cleared up, and there was never going to be any actual consequence to the women for that right. Sorry. Reports soon filled the press that voters up and down the country either intending to or actually casting multiple votes for one candidate, all of which, as agents of the candidates frankly tried to point out, invalidated their ballot papers. Many newspapers, especially London-based journalists, blamed this confusion about the plumping communal voting instructed alongside the secret ballot for London School Board elections in 1870. I will say something else here. You're hearing reports about people making mistakes with their votes and all that and having had bad advice. Did somebody not go to court in America recently for telling Democrats they could vote by text? And a bunch of them did it. It's no different. Things have not changed. The more they may be refined, maybe a different scam, maybe a different set of bad information, but the principle is the same. The plumping problem, however, was not just confined to London's constituencies. In Brighton, one horrified Conservative candidate reported receiving multiple letters of support from voters saying, "I shall give my 2 votes for you." Fearing the worst, on the eve of the poll, he issued a special address warning that If my vote shall commit that error, hundreds, if not thousands, of votes would be lost. In Sunderland, one draper questioned by a candidate said he meant to give him his 2 votes. Things got so bad in Glasgow that special notices had to be issued telling electors that you cannot give more than 1 vote to any one candidate or mark more than 1 X after the name of such a candidate. And this voting advice is the sort of thing that's given to one side by people who are pretending to be on their side but are indeed working for the opposition. Plumping was just one of traditional forms of voting in multi-member seats that clearly did not translate smoothly into a modern ballot paper. Unaided by public conversations with the clerks and agents that used to take part before elections, orally declared their votes at any poll, many electors also struggled with selecting the appropriate combination of candidates, especially in the absence of party labels on the ballot papers. Well, we now have party labels on the ballot papers, and this is how you learn as you go. One upshot of all this, with long-term consequences, was a stimulus given to local party organisations in the constituencies to produce better guidance and campaign literature and develop new types of electioneering. Make it more transparent. Let the people know what they're voting for. Let the people know who they're voting for. Become part of that community. England, you could maybe try that now. Just a thought. Aided by their efforts, a deluge of additional information and advice about how best to support either the local Conservative Party or Liberals soon became available. But where did this leave non-party voters, the backbone of the old public voting system? Those votes must be remembered accounted. It must be remembered accounted for around 1/5 of all those cast between 1832 and 1868. So we had a lot more parties. Well, we still have more parties. Just turns out that the Conservative and the Liberals were much better, and I think you'll find that the party not mentioned in this line would be the Labour Party. I believe the Liberals probably became the Lib Dems. The Labour Party, something new, something evil, something communist, but they have managed to break through. And what they seem to do better than the other parties is grassroots organising. They're very good at it. I don't like them, but you have to admit they're good at what they do. They've got a whole bunch of fucking idiots voting for them. The data currently available indicates that non-party voting, either supporting candidates from different parties and what amounted to a cross-party vote, or casting non-partisan plump, voting only for the candidate from a particular party even when others were standing, declined significantly in the 1874 and 1880 elections, and for the first time dropped below 8%. The move to secrecy, it seems, made the whole business of casting non-party votes in multiple member constituencies more complex and liable to confusion, required greater political awareness and a level of knowledge on the part of the voter. It would not be long, of course, before this whole system of multiple votes being able to make non-party choices would be almost completely eradicated, making the use of the new secret ballot papers much more straightforward. After just one more general election in 1880 and yet another dramatic expansion of the franchise in 1884, 1 second, I need to cough. Sorry about that. Now, where was I? Right. The move to secrecy, it seems, made the whole business of casting non-party votes in multiple member constituencies more complex and liable to confusion, requiring a greater political awareness and level of knowledge on the part of the voter. It would not be long, of course, before this whole system of multiple votes and being able to make non-party choices would be almost completely eradicated, making use of the new secret ballot papers much more straightforward. After just one more general election in 1880, and yet another dramatic expansion of the franchise in 1884. So every couple of years as we go along, we're adding more and more people to the voting roll, and we're also streamlining that process because you've got more people voting, so therefore it needs to be more streamlined. Most of the UK shifted to winner takes all single member seats in 1885, a system that, for better or worse, continues to define our modern day politics. It is better. And I will say that the introduction of the single transferable vote in Northern Ireland has been an absolute fucking nightmare, and you really don't want it in your political system. It shouldn't be legal. Sorry, I'm going to go through the chat. The comments now. Oh yeah. That's what we have with that single transferable vote. It's an absolute bollocks. Yeah, women have a vote. Yes, that's the other thing. They had to pay tax. Oh yeah, and they worked. Brad, what about you? Sean Malcolm aboard? It was in the meme. Right. In the 1841 census, it was revealed that there was a woman that voted more times. Yeah. Ice Green, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming along. Yeah. The meme was the guy who told the Dems they could tax their vote. Yeah. And I believe he went to court for doing that. You know, it's this idea of confusing the way we vote is far from new. It's just been part of the system, has been baked in. Yeah, he went to prison. But it's absolutely ridiculous because who the fuck believes that you see anybody that thinks you can tax in your vote whenever there's a whole system that you were taught from you were a child and you've taken part in? I don't know why that person's still allowed to vote. I'd have took them off every rule there is for being below the required level. It was 2-0 last I checked. I've got it on. I've recorded all the World Cup games, so I'm going to watch it after. I'm quite fond of the sports ball. I think the problem isn't watching sports ball. For me, the problem is getting obsessed with it, and I'm not obsessed. Although I will say that Emma G and I have been to every home Northern Ireland match in the last about 10 years. We're black bookers. We go to all the home matches. We get to watch our team attempt to qualify for these tournaments and never fucking qualify. Well, last time we did was 2016. We went to France for the Euros, but it's a very long time. I think Mexico 86 was the last time Northern Ireland qualified for a World Cup. But we try. We do try. And the matches are fucking class. Yeah. Yeah. You know, take a bit of interest in your team or your country or whatnot, but don't make it your whole life. It's then again. Right. So that was the overview. And now we're going to have a look at what the Gazette says about this. Which I'm actually quite interested in. Yeah. Well, my problem is I grew up supporting Liverpool. That was my team. From Kevin Keegan, Steve Highway, and Jimmy Case, and Phil Neal, and all those players. But the Liverpool fan base was not the fan base that they currently have. They didn't hate England. They didn't hate British people. And I now have large problems watching Liverpool or any of their content. I can't associate with people who regularly boo my national anthem. Can't do it, won't do it. I hope it's just a phase and it changes, but I haven't really followed Liverpool closely for a while, and that's the reason why. Yeah. Grew up going to the Wolves games. Right now. Yes, the Gazette. Share screen. If you zoom that out one. Right. This is from the Gazette, which is the public. It's going to get you a Scottish skirt, has it, Billy? This is from the Gazette, which is the official public record. I only found out about this site whenever I was looking up about this subject. I would normally, it seems to be similar to Hansard, but here's where we go. So this is the official public record on the Ballot Act in 1872. It's hard to imagine a time when people couldn't cast their vote in private, but before 1872, bribery and corruption were common, and who people voted for was a very public affair. The other thing about public voting is that makes the bribery possible, because if you've bribed somebody or coerced them for some reason to stand in the hall and stick their name up for their hand up whenever your name was called out, you can check that they've done it. You can see. You know that they voted for you. Whenever they went in that booth, they could fucking take your money and vote for anybody. And that is, I would say, is one of the reasons that it cut out on the bribery. You just can't say somebody's taking a bribe for the vote. You can't trust them inside the ballot box. Simple as that. Which is why the people who routinely gather a lot of votes do so by going to nursing homes or whatever and getting mass mail-in votes and filling them in for the person, so then they know what fucking name the X went next to. So 1832 Reform Act had extended the the franchise, and further parliamentary reform had taken place in 1867. But the men in UK, men in the UK still didn't have the right to vote in secret until 1872. Point of order. There you go. I fixed it. Men in the UK didn't have the right to vote, and they would not gain that right until 1921 with the Representation of Peoples Act. Again, thank you. Prior to the Ballot Act of 1872, voters would give a show of hands, loud, or mark their paper in public, while onlookers and candidates, agents cheered or jeered. The name and choice would be noted down on a public poll book, which newspapers could publish. So everybody knew exactly who to vote for. So your landlord could indeed fuck you out for voting for the wrong person. As a consequence of open voting, men who rented their homes or relied on a local employer for work had to vote as their property owner or employer wished them to vote. If they didn't vote, they would risk losing their home and job that fed their family. Bribery with money and liquor, drunken fights, and threats from candidates were also common. When electoral malpractice and intimidation clearly rife, politicians of the day recognised that change was needed. John Bright, cabinet member since 1868, and radical speaker and supporter of parliamentary reform, was in favour of a secret ballot to prevent intimidation of workers. Edward Allen Leeson, re-elected to Huddersfield in 1868, husband of Bright's sister, introduced the ballot paper, the ballot bill to Parliament. The Ballot Act 1872 gave voters a right to privacy, away from the prying eyes of employees and landlords. It gained royal assent in July of 1872, and the act which establishes the ballot will assist to secure alike the independence of the voter and the tranquility and purity of elections and members to save the Parliament. And this is where this line here is where you'll see that there are rules about what can be done close to polling stations on the day of a polling station. You can't just rock up and have a protest at a polling station, by the way. You have to be a certain distance away from that. There are also rules about what politicians can give out at the polling station. Like if it's a really warm day, they can't be giving out bottles of water. If it's a really cold day, they can't be providing a warm place for their people to queue in. They can't be doing anything that gives anybody an advantage for voting for that person. It's probably no coincidence that in the same year, a number of patents were filed in the Gazette for invention of a ballot box that was fit for this new purpose. One was by engineer Christopher Blackwell in December 1872. 2256 and Christopher Barkle of Yorkton Chambers, York Street, Manchester, in the county of Lancaster, engineer, has given the like notice in respect for the invention of an improved ballot box or apparatus for the registration of votes by ballot. So as soon as that came out, somebody was on the ball and that, do you know what? See if I can get the job of making these ballot boxes. I'll have a lot of work. So they got busy and tried to get themselves that job. Pontefract was the first town to vote in private just 3 weeks after the act was passed. All right, so Pontefract was obviously having a by-election, and when this is going to affect you is the reason why they had 3 weeks is because it got passed and they were having an election in 3 weeks and needed to get it up and running. It wasn't that they just ignored the whole thing. While it was being passed and didn't do any planning for it, no, that couldn't happen. They had to wait. Yeah, I'm not banning that. Hugh Chitters, newly appointed as a minister, had to win the by-election to be able to serve. Yeah, and if the people that were running the ballot didn't really like him, they would drag their feet and make the vote as arduous as possible if he was the incumbent. Crown Office on August 17th, 1872, member returned to serve in the Parliament Borough of Pontefract, the Right Honourable Hugh Colleen Edley Chitters of 17 Princess Garden in the County of Middlesex, Chancellor of the Duchy of Leicester. Britain's first secret ballot box is on display at Pontefract Museum and is still marked with the wax seals that ensures the votes were not tampered with. The seal was made with a licorice stamp from a local factory that was used to make Pontefract cake. The Corrupt Policies Act. The Ballot Act had failed to remove bribery from the voting process. Shock, horror that one act would just do that. No. Though the electoral spending remained unlimited. As a result, Gladstone's second ministry set up a royal commission to investigate electoral practices. This led to the Corrupt and Illegal Practice Act of 1883, which established what a candidate could spend on election expenses. Oh, that's a hot subject at the minute in the UK with Mr. Farage. What could be spent on election expenses? Yeah, this is going back to 1883. And what money could be spent on. The Act criminalised attempts to bribe voters and banned the buying of food or drink for this purpose, with more severe fines, in some cases imprisonment for those who broke the rules. And I was talking about that earlier. So whenever we think about our history and we think about what has previously been done in Parliament, and we think that that's all history, it has a real effect on how we live our lives today. For example, there you go. How we vote basically hasn't changed. How we actually physically vote hasn't changed since the late 1800s. Now, has election strategies changed? Yes. Has a lot of other things changed? But the actual process and also the franchise has been extended, and we're now allowing fucking 16-year-olds to vote for some reason. I think the reason could indeed be potato. But there you go. But all of this stuff has a history. And I think probably what would help is if we look through the history and went to the point where we found it was probably optimum and go back to those rules. Because I swear to God, in pretty much everything that we have done, we have got to the station, we've got to the place where we needed to be, and instead of fucking stopping and getting off the train, we've fucking put that pedal to the metal and we've ploughed on through the fucking station wall and destroyed the whole bastard thing. Calm. I'm now going to check the comments. Slim Ian's been making crispy bacon. The ancient rivalry, England versus France. I'm wondering if any animosity between nations is older, Japan and China. No, Brad, I think England and France is taking it. I honestly think England and France is taking it. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm okay. I do honestly hope England win. But be advised, as I said earlier, Emma G and I go to all the Northern Ireland match, and Emma G's English, but she really enjoys the Northern Ireland matches and the Green White Army and our support, which is absolutely fucking phenomenal. But we had seen all of our World Cup matches for this a couple of years ago because we went through the qualification process and did not qualify. Again, FIFA fucking rigged the group for Germany. Connor Washington was we were playing Germany. It was 0-0. There was about 10 minutes to go. We were about to win the game because there was a ball played over the top. Connor Washington was coming clean through. The German goalkeeper came right out of his box and tried to stop the ball that was being played through to Connor and handled it. Should have been sent off. Should have been straight red. And also, because he actually got his hand on it and pushed the ball up in the air, the advantage that the referee claimed to have played did not materialize because he changed the flight of the ball, he changed the length of time of the ball, the duration in the air, and all our defenders got back. We couldn't score, and the referee just continued on with the game. Oh, fuck no. Yeah, not good. Against Argentina, my thoughts on that are they did everything right until they scored. And it seemed like once they scored, they were like, fuck me, we could actually win this. And instead of doing more of what they had been doing, they crawled up into a shell and stopped attempting to play football. And that's never going to work whenever you've got players of that quality. Oh, don't worry. Drop in when you can. Thanks very much for coming along. Slim's fingers or thumbs in it. Shite. I was hoping, like, the very worst is the fourth best team in the world. I would take that all day, every day. Nah. We're going to have Actually, we're going to have a musical interlude, but before we do the musical interlude, we're going to do a quick... Yeah. Third or fourth don't matter, only a win does. Yeah, mate, we didn't even get to go to the fucking tournament. You know, it's... Before we do the musical interlude, going to do an On This Day from the Troubles. Some weeks I will do this, some weeks I won't. But I just decided to add this in. For those of you that probably don't know about an On This Day, it comes from the book Lost Lives, and every day it tells you who was killed in Northern Ireland on that day as part of the Troubles, who killed them, and why. I'm going to zoom this in a bit. View, zoom in. So, 18th of July, 1972, Jones James status, British Army, killed by Irish Republican Army, IRA, shot by a sniper while inside 30 Foster School British Army base in Ballymurphy, Belfast. So he was in the school part of a British Army base in Ballymurphy, which is in Belfast, and he got shot dead by a sniper. 18th of July 1972, same night, status, civilian, killed by the British Army. He was a night watchman, shot in unclear circumstances at his workplace, Finley's Package and Family, Ballygo Martin Road, Belfast. Now, Ballygo Martin Road is not that far from Ballymurphy. Were you doing a lot of pot shots that night? Possibly. Were you maybe using your position as a night watchman? Who knows? We will never know. 18th of July, 1979, Little Gordon, 28, Protestant, status civilian, killed by Irish Republican Army, IRA, killed by a body trap bomb in a laneway of his home, Dumbella, Liston Ski, in Fermanagh. A body a body trap bomb probably underneath the car, and you just go boom, get blew the fuck up. 18th of July 1989. This is a lot more recent. John McNanty John, Catholic, status civilian, killed by Irish Republican Army, found shot Loch Moss Road, Ballycarry Bridge, near Crossmaglen, County Armagh. An alleged informer. Whenever the IRA wanted to shoot somebody, they shot them and then they said they were an informer. 18th of July 1991, McMaster John, Protestant, status Royal Navy, killed by Irish People's Liberation Army, IPLO. Another break off of the Irish National Liberation Army. Off-duty Royal Navy reservist shot at his shop in Church Lane in Belfast. So there you go. Pretty much every day of the year is the anniversary of something in Northern Ireland. What is insane? Oh, Anglo, here's the thing. See by the time soldiers are making the decision whether or not to fire on British citizens, they no longer have that choice. Because trust me, mate, I've been there. I was at Stormont at the Ulster Says No thing where we had got as far as the last line of police officers, and the police officers were shoving us back and going and saying, the only people behind us are soldiers and they're not going to fight you, they're going to shoot you, because they were between us, and there was a lot of us, and the building that contained the politicians that we were going to lynch, and they were never going to let that happen. And also, at that point, their choices are put their guns down, put their weapons down, come inside with us. In which case, while we might have went to jail and stuff, they would definitely have been hung for fucking treason, desertion, and all sorts of stuff. The idea that the army won't fire on civilians is madness. It all depends on the circumstances. All right, now, and with that, we're going to have a musical interlude, and we're going to have a little bit of the Dreadnoughts, and yep, Dreadnoughts, the Cruel Wars, and we'll have to. Here we go. The Cruel Wars by the Dreadnoughts. This adding extra steps in is doing my fucking. Yeah, the Dreadnoughts. Oh no. No, the Dreadnoughts are not AI. The Dreadnoughts are a group of people that sing sea shanties and have been doing so since long before AI was a thing.
A recruiting sergeant came away from an inn near town at the close of day. He said, "My Johnny, you're a fine young man. Would you like to march along behind a military band with a scarlet coat and a fine cocked hat and a musket at your shoulder? The shilling he took and he kissed the book. Oh, poor Johnny, what'll happen to ya?" The recruiting sergeant marched away from the inn near town at the break of day. Johnny came to with half a ring. He was off to be a soldier to go fighting for the king in a far-off war in a far-off land to face the foreign soldier. But how will you fare when there's lead in the air? Oh, poor Johnny, what'll happen to ya? Well, the sun rose high on a barren land where the thin red line made a military stand. There was slingshot, chain shot, grape shot too, swords and bayonets thrusting through. Poor Johnny fell, but the day was won, and the king is grateful to ya. But your soldier is done and they're sending you home. Oh, poor Johnny, what'll happen to ya? They said he was a hero and not to grieve, for the 2 ruined legs and the empty sleeve took him home, and they set him down with a military pension and a medal from the crown. But you haven't an arm, you haven't a leg, the enemy nearly slew ya. You'll have to go out in the streets and beg. Oh, poor Johnny, what'll happen to ya? A recruiting sergeant came away from the inn near town at the close of day. He said, my Johnny, you're a fine young man. Would you like to march along behind a military band with a scarlet coat and a fine cocked hat and a musket at your shoulder? The shelling he took and he kissed the book. Oh, poor Johnny, what'll happen to ya? Oh, Polly, love, oh, Polly, the rout has now begun, and we must go a-marching to the beating of a drum. Come dress yourself all in your best and come along with me. I'll take you to the cruel wars in high Germany. Oh, Harry, dearest Harry, mind well what I do say. My feet, they are so tender, and I cannot march away. Besides, my dearest Harry, I am with child by thee, not fitted for the cruel wars in high Germany. I'll buy you a horse, my love, and on it you shall ride, and all of my delight shall be walking at your side. We'll stop at every alehouse and drink when we are dry. Be true to one another, get married by and by. Oh, cursed be the cruel wars that ever they should rise, and out of merry England pressed many a man likewise. They took her Harry from her, likewise her brothers 3, and sent them to the cruel wars in high Germany.
Yeah, it was a very good parade this year. And also the weather was excellent. It was nice and warm. It's good to see all the bands with their shirt sleeves on. Here, Gary, have you ever seen a concertina band? By God, it's the weirdest, wonderfulest thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. I was watching the English. I was watching the Liverpool parade, the Liverpool and Southport parades on the 12th. Actually, I think it was the 11th. I think it was the Saturday. They went, and really, really nice parade. But those concertina bands are something else. We did. Not really. It's all in the English race of colour. Like we invented everything, and we invented the way of doing things. We invented the safe shipping lanes that allowed trade to flourish. We gave the world our language, our rule of law. We've just went through how we went to secret voting and that model where you get and you go in the little box. The rest of the world does that. That was us came up with that. Everyone else is working our system while giving us shit for creating the system that sustains our life. This is a major problem. Not disagree. I will not disagree. But before there is blood, let us exhaust. Yeah. That's the exact problem, Anglo. That's the exact problem. It's and I, for one, am fed up with the fucking shite that we get for being British. But before there's blood, let us exhaust all the avenues that do not involve that, like engaging properly with the political processes and all of that madness. Now, let me see. What else did I have? Uh-huh. I want something smaller than that, shorter than that. All right. I think the Tulip Wars. I would need time to look into that. Spanish. My basic understanding of the Tulip Wars is that it almost bankrupt Holland, and the other thing I know about tulips is that during the potato blight, the European potato during the European potato blight, the Dutch started eating their tulip bulbs like potatoes because that was all that they had. Not quite sure how England fucked up the Dutch, German, French, Belgium, Russian potatoes. But then again, they've never claimed that the English fucked up their potatoes. But yet, with all, they had the exact same thing that the potatoes in Ireland had. That they did. Scotland did colonise a shithole. And indeed, that colonisation of a shithole is the reason for the act of union between England and Scotland, because Scotland spent all of their money trying to colonise a shithole, couldn't make money out of it, and then went, oh, we're fucked. England, would you like to help us out? Yeah. Yeah, the Dutch have always been good allies to us. Whenever, and the other thing is, what we all see, everybody's very clear that England and France has had a very long rivalry. Where we start to get confused is we fail to remember that the reason for that rivalry is England is Protestant and France is Catholic, and there's a religious element to that. And the other problem I'm running into is my lighters are all running out. This is not good. If I don't have a working light, I'm going to have to light a candle later. Not a churchy candle, just one that will be a flame. I know exactly where I can find one. What am I going to talk about for the rest of this stream? Oh yeah, it does. We picked religions based on who we didn't like. Basically, half of the reason for the Reformation was to get away from the authoritarian Pope and the Vatican, who were telling us what to do with everything about our country. And the other thing was it made the countries then got involved in that, and they were never going to go to the same religion as their mortal enemies. And with that, I've just had an idea for a musical interlude. Hold on. SONG. Here we go. We're going to have the Martin Luther rap video. I've got 97 theses, but the Pope ain't one. Why not? Actually, I know what we're doing off this. Angle, you might like this. It's in danger to becoming this is in danger of becoming a sash bash. His pushing of Tommy Robinson. Would this be bird brain of a cat going to let Tommy of Robinson anywhere near Robert Lowe? Oh fuck no, that would be very bad. That would be very, very, very bad. And I will come back to that in a moment. Right, here we go. This is a bit of fun about Martin Luther. Here you go. Every time you hear a cultural reference that you understand, type it in the comments. Let's do this. Come on.
If you having church problems, then don't blame God, son. I got 95 theses, but the Pope ain't one. Listen up, all my people, it's a storm for the time. About the sin and injustice and corruption I've been smelling. I met that holy kettle, then I started rebelling. Once I seen the fat indulgences that he been selling. Now the Catholics of the world straight up disgracing me. Just because I wear my finger at the papacy. My people got run up over this reformation. That's when Leo threatened me with excommunication. I warn y'all that Rome best agree to the terms. If not, then you can eat my diet of worms. You think you're gonna do something spectacular? I put the whole Bible in the vernacular. Heretic, what? Someone told me you're wrong. You forgot salvation comes through faith alone. I'm on a mission from God. You think I do this for fun? I got 95 theses, but the Pope ain't one. Say me. 95 theses, but the Pope ain't one. If you have church problems, then don't blame God, son. I got 95 theses, but the Pope ain't one. 1517 is when it first went down. Then the real test is when it started spreading around. 60 days to recant what I said. Father, please, you've had what going on 15 centuries? Oh snap, he's messing with the Holy Communion. But I ain't never dissed your precious hypostatic union. One place at one time. Well, thank you, Swingly. Yeah, way to disregard that whole I got thing. Getting all up in my rosary, you little punk. Your mama should have told you not to mess with no bump. What you love from before? Suddenly you sore? Keep that up. You'll have yourself another peasant's war. You blame comic book with a smack big talk. You ain't never even taught the proper Christian doctor. With my hat, my Bible, and my sexy little nun, I got 95 pieces, but the Pope ain't one. Say me. 95 theses, but the Pope ain't one. If you have church problems, then don't blame God, son. I got 95 theses, but the Pope ain't one. When I won the 95, painted straight up the sale. Now they only care whether or not I nailed them or made them. They got psychoanalytic. Now everyone's a critic. And getting on my cases because I'm anti-Semitic. I come down from obscurity to teach y'all a lesson. Cause someone here still ain't read the Augsburg Confession. I said Catholicism brings a life of excess. And we all remember what we're down with Philip the Hess. You forgot about me and my religious demonstration. Like you should just go create your own denomination. We don't like this fight, so we'll just add a little twist. Now we Anglican, Amish, and even Calvinist. I gave you the power, you got it, abused it. I gave you God's truth, you just confused it. Don't you never underestimate the shit that I done. I got 95 pieces, but the Pope ain't one. Say me. 95 theses, but the Pope ain't one. If you having church problems, then don't blame God, son. I got 95 theses, but the Pope ain't
on, Gutenberg. I see you, baby.
Okay. We must drive the money lenders from the temple. Commander, do you realize what that money was about? Do you? Because let me break it to you. So the Pope wanted to create St. Peter's Basilica, that big fucking fancy palace he had, but he didn't have the money. And you had another cardinal who had bought his job, which is how you got those top jobs, and he needed to get the money to repay his debts. And here's what they come up with. The cardinal sold indulgences. What is an indulgence, I hear you ask? Well, got a dead family member, dead mother, dead father, whatever. In the Roman Catholic religion, you do not die and then go to heaven or hell. You go to a waiting room called purgatory, where every day you get to be tormented by not knowing if you're going to eternal salvation and joy, peace, and light, or eternal burning and burning and burning. And what this person did was they sold a ticket to heaven, literally a ticket to heaven. It was a pre-made out form with little gaps for you write the names in, and you told the name of your loved one, and they put it in. They told you how much money you had to hand over, and boom! As soon as that coin rattled in the box, that family member was straight into heaven. So yeah, it's much worse than money lending. It's selling tickets to heaven. It's absolutely fucking inhuman. And that's what was going on. And this is where the whole problem with the Reformation started. That was all about, because Martin Luther put his thesis where he said to the Pope, you might want to have a look at these indulgences because we're selling quite a lot of them. How did they manage this? How did they manage this, I ask you? Well, see all those saints. Well, they all went to heaven straight away because of good works, and they had done so much good works that they had a whole bunch of good works left over. Enough to get many people into heaven. And all these extra good works apparently sat on a shelf somewhere deep in the Vatican. Whenever you paid the money, those good works got attributed to your family member. Obviously, since it's good works and stuff like that, there's nothing physical there. You know, you can't prove out that you've got it or that your loved one made it to heaven. So they didn't even need to have the access good works. They were imaginary. Yeah, it's like selling fucking air guitars that get you to heaven. That's what these cunts were doing. And Luther said we might want to have a look at this, and then the church went absolutely apeshit on because it was making far too much money. Oh, you're correct, but you're also incorrect, because they wanted all this money for St. Peter's Basilica, and the cardinal went out and he sent priests before him saying he was going to be in X amount of place, X place on X day, and come and pay, and you got your bit of paper, and that was it. Yeah, it was a very... Oh, it totally is a Ponzi scheme. Like, whenever you start to look at the Church of Rome, you'll find there's a lot of Ponzi schemes about it. For example, this whole don't eat meat on a Friday thing, that came about because a pope, different, not the one selling the indulgences, different one, He wanted more taxes off the fishermen and said to the fishermen, I need more tax off you. And they were like, we're poor, we can't afford that. And he went, don't worry, I will increase your revenue. And he was like, how's that? He went, I will make it a sin to eat meat on a Friday, so everybody's going to have to buy your fish. You'll make more money. You can give me more taxes. The whole thing's corrupt as fuck. Yeah. Fish tax. It's sick. It's sick. But anyway, it being July and all of that. Yeah. Lisa from East Belfast, Ulster Hall. We're going to have a little bit of Yep. And we'll return this into a bit of a size bash. We're now going to have Build My Gallows by Lisa McWilliams at the Ulster Hall. Because why the hell not? Yep. Out of the stage before you hit play.
Well, I am a loyal Ulster man. They say this day that I must die. Well, I fought the IRA, and they say that I must stay. Well, they say this day that I must die.
that's that. This is what nights out look like in my community. Yeah, and we do. We fucking love it. I'm not sure whether to do another one from that night or possibly a different one. Let's see. Lisa from Mace. Here we go. Different singer, different song. Check this out. Once this is in a club around the corner from me. I think that's a fancy dress, Nate. Is he still fast, Spanish? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's an average. That's what nights out like, or like around this neck of the woods. Yeah, everyone's half pissed. The singer may be good, maybe bad. She was not exactly brilliant, although I don't think the recording came through as well as it should have done. But that's basically what it's like. Oh, some drums and flutes. Hold on. Yep. Here we go. Here's some flutes and drumming. Well, actually, check this out. There's rules about to be broke here with the double bass drum and a bit of a sing along with the crowd. This is from 2014, 12th of July in Belfast, and it's the Shankle Pros and Boys. Add that to the stage and hit the play. There you go. That's a little bit from the 12th of July parade. And what I will say about all of that is, see if you bring up your kids from babies. And I was at parades like that from I was in a pram. Yeah, I would probably still be in a pram my first quite a few 12th of July parades. And then I ended up walking on it, and we will see what happens next year. But you get your kids involved in that from their kids, and they love it and they enjoy it and they're part of that community. They ain't ever going left. They ain't ever turning into a leftist. It's as simple as that. This is the inoculation. This is how you create people like me. With this community and the music and the traditions and the heritage and keeping that connection. Can't stress that enough. We sort of need that. Nah, I do want to take a step back to something that was talked about a few minutes ago. Tommy Robinson needs to be nowhere fucking near Rob Lowe, Rupert Lowe, whatever his fucking name is. But I honestly don't think that he will want to be there, because Lowe actually does stuff. Lowe's on a mission and he's looking for actions. And they're fucking our streets around here, budgie. They are fucking our streets. We've got a claim on them. Tommy Robinson's running a fucking cargo cult. There's no call to action. There's no end product. Tommy Robinson could do what he's doing from now to eternity, and he will change not one thing in England. Bringing fucking, I don't know, 1 million people into the centre of London to watch somebody play a fucking viola with bacon on their shoulders is not going to change this fucking country. It is useless. He has been very good at creating the crowd that he would need to make a difference. However, he is not teaching them how to act and how to make a difference. There has been no improvement with anything Tommy Robinson was doing. And I'll tell you something else. I come from Belfast. I grew up in all of the shit. I've been going to protests since I was, well, I wasn't going to protest. I was technically being taken to protest by my parents in a pram because they were going to have to bring their children with them. And I have watched this for 60 fucking years. And protests, riots, seen friends blew up, seen friends murdered, seen all that shit. And you seen what happened the other week whenever somebody tried to chop a head off and the commotion that went on across Northern Ireland and people getting burnt out and whatnot. I will tell you now, the people of Northern Ireland know that we cannot riot our way out of this, that we cannot street activist ourselves out of this, and that something different needs to be done. And I've seen the disturbances in England, and quite frankly, they're laughable. And we've realised that at our level of ratting, we can't rat our way out of this, and we are doing things differently, and we've changed a lot, and we're fighting a fucking culture war, and we're actually using our culture to fight that war. And we're making our cultural events not so much accessible. I'll tell you what we've done. See, everywhere that the left are saying that their events are inclusive and anybody's welcome. We turned up. In the last fucking 2 to 3 years, this is a change that's happened, where we had a loyalist flute band leading the Belfast St. Patrick's Day parade, something I would never ever thought I would ever see. And by the way, they played their full repertoire. They played the sash on St. Patrick's Day on the Belfast parade. It's fucking... It's a total change. We're going forward and saying we're people and you've got to accept us, and we're bringing all of our baggage with us. Where Tommy Robinson's at is standing quietly places, please. See unless he changes what he does, he's not going to get anywhere. Yeah, Tommy has no call to action. If fucking him and Bert Green of a car, it's like sitting on a fucking rocking chair. It'll give you something to do, but you're not getting anywhere. Yeah. Oh. Apart from he can't even tell you who the fucking union is. He can't even tell you. Oh, I don't give a fuck who it is that's paying him. My problem is that what he's doing is counterproductive. See, the fields of Athenry, yeah, it's a load of made up bullshit. But the version of it that I'd sing would be the fields of Ballinafa, which is somehow different. Yeah, he's making the biggest difference, Carl, Bert Green of a car is making us to his own fucking bank balance. That's where he's making a difference. In my humble opinion. I'm not sure that all the difference that Benjamin's making is good, and I definitely don't agree that all the difference that Robinson's making is good. I could agree. Anyway, right, we've had a bit of a side spice, we've done a bit of political stuff, we've done a bit of historical stuff, we've done a bit of everything. And what I'm going to do now is play the outro and put your comments up on the screen. And here we go. It's in red.
In the red dirt, name carved in a stone you can't move. 42 wears the north wind like a tattoo. Green field trapped in the gray sky, saw the rain still stuck in his throat. Far from the line on the map, he carries that border like a coat. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless, words like broken glass in the heather. Tongue tastes blood and black tea. He writes the river that cut his town. He writes walls only he can see. Vision of Ulster's flicker over rusted wire and ruin. He plants a flag in this dead valley and calls it home by singing. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new dark songs. From the cold, wet edge of Northern Ireland to the dry heat where his shadow runs long. 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, every line is a vow he won't undo. Hear that low voice curse and bless when the dust says 42. Is it exile if the land moves with you? Is it freedom if the past still stares straight through? He laughs like a funeral, he prays like a fight, writes Ulster in the sand, lets the wind decide the right. At 42, Ulster's poet, patriot, spitting old ghosts into new says 42. 42. 42.
Last comment on this thing, I thought you were able to hear me whenever I said that before. Anyway, Brad James said, even the lotus eaters pretentious, Greek myth, good for you. Yeah, but the myth is that the people went to that place and they failed to continue on the rest of their journey because what they found there was so good they could not leave. Not great for someone that's going to push you towards changing your country. Whenever you consider that there's absolutely fuck all said or done in the Lotus Eaters that has any potential whatsoever of making any bit of difference whatsoever. Billy, I'm not shooting people down. I'm pointing out that what they're doing needs to be improved. And by the way, see if there's no call to action ever out of a channel, or you could do this, maybe fill in a consultation form, maybe get on to your member of parliament about that, maybe get involved with the system, maybe try to break the system by overloading it. See if you're not getting any of that. The only way that they can possibly take over is by an armed conflict. And I can tell you now, England's not ready for it. Not a fucking snowball's hope in hell. So either he's building a fucking army in the background that we don't know about. Newsflash, he's not. Or he's a rocking horse. But anyway. Oh, the system is rotten because we don't fucking go into it enough. And this is where the problem is, Martin. No, Billy, it's not. This is not that in any way, shape, or form. I've said fuck all about any of these people for a very, very long time. And that's just my opinion, that the Lotus Eaters and Sargon Record's not going to get you anywhere. But anyway. Right, okay, I'll do that. See, I've talked for too long and ended up into a whole other song. I'm doing this and then it's going to be over. Let's go. Where's the good version? All right. Actually, Johnny Collins, there we are. I actually need to get these better organized. Yeah. Except he never was at a prison wall for McGregor's corn and all that. It's Baloney Orange Hall. I heard a young maid call in. Billy, they has taken you away. Robin, welcome. Sorry you've arrived at the end, but thank you very much for coming along. Here we go. Right, I'm going to play this outro and then I'm going to get out of here. Remove that from the studio. Present this. Share screen. Johnny Collins, leave her. Johnny, leave her. Then you go back in the studio. Then you add this. This is longer every fucking time. Here we go.
Oh, the work was hard and the wages low. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. I guess it's time for us to go, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, I thought I heard the
Chill out,
old
people.
man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, tomorrow you will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The winds blew foul and the seas run high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. We shipped 'em green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her.
Yes.
Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The mate was a bucko and the old man a Turk. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. And the boatswain was a beggar with a middle name of work, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The old man swears and the mate swears too. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. The crew all swear, and so would you, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The starboard pump is like the crew. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's all worn out and will not do, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. The rats have gone and we the crew. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. It's time, be damned, that we went to, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Well, I pray that we shall ne'er more see. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. A hungry ship, the likes of she, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, the voyage is done and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.
Robin's not so much trolls as a very lively exchange of opinions. I don't like personal attacks, although I will say that, but we didn't get too bad. Anyway, I've been 42. You lot in the chat have, as always, been fucking amazing. See you all next week. Good night. God bless. I'm out of here. Goodbye.